Hello everybody, welcome back. Dr. Tyran Mincey here on our immune system boosting crusade, letting you know about 10 immune boosting steps against COVID-19 and other microbes. This is relevant to you whether you've had the vaccination or not, because we always have to deal with assaults on our immune system. We can always get a little bit better. So today we're going to talk about step number 9, support antibody production. And before I go on, the question here is this: what's an antibody anyway? Everybody's talking about antibodies, but does everybody know what it is? So let's clarify that. An antibody is something that's produced by a cell in your immune system that attaches to a microbe and labels it for destruction. That's it. It's kind of like you park your car somewhere where it's not supposed to be parked. I know in New York City they do this, and they take a sticker and put it on your car so that we know that you did that, and so everybody can see that you parked that car where you probably shouldn't have. And eventually, if you leave it there long enough, it gets towed. Well, in the human body, the body detects things that don't belong there by having it labeled. And once it's labeled, policing white blood cells come by and destroy it. And that's what we're talking about today: how to get your body to label more things that don't belong there, which is an improvement in immunity, because the fewer of those things that are around, whether it's a virus, a bacteria, or COVID-19, the healthier you'll be. And the faster your body can do it, the better. So we talked about this is the outside and this is the inside. And we know that invaders start and work their way through all of these layers of defense that you have. So when I say there's an immune system inside, there really is. But we have to put everything there that it needs. So now we're on step 9, antibodies. And antibodies are made by these cells that we talked about in step 8. So if you didn't watch step 8, you should. And they're called B cells. And B cells, if they have everything that they need, will make more antibodies. And if they have a little bit more of what they need, they'll continue to make antibodies. So the better shape your B cells are in before the infection, the more likely it is that you're going to have a heartier response and a slower time to be sick. So let's consider what we can do to help the antibodies. By the way, that's what the antibody we're talking today looks like. There are different types of antibodies, and of course we're not going to talk about all those today. But we are going to talk about the antibody that's most important to slimy surfaces and snot and spit. So our action step 9 is 1, consult your team. It is always action step number 1, because the study of alternative, holistic types of medicine and mainstream medicine, in any of these things, they are life studies. And it requires a long time to accumulate this knowledge and understand and apply it to help people. So your team can do a really good job for you, helping you navigate this. Get an antibody test. Yes, we can test for antibodies, and we can do it from the saliva, and we can also do it in the blood. And it's very important to have it assessed to know if you have a problem. The antibody we're interested in is called IgA. It stands for immunoglobulin A. And this is a type of protein that's in the blood, and it's also going to be found in the saliva, protecting your slimy surfaces. It looks like that. It's almost like a barrier to keep something out. But remember, it's just going to stick to an invader so that it can be identified for destruction. Some people have a tendency not to make enough of this immunoglobulin A. So I'm going to tell you how in our next step you could do that. Also keep in mind that this immunoglobulin A will go down, will be weaker during stressful situations. Think of some stressful situations that you may have seen or observed, even in people that you know who have COVID-19. The small percentage of people who have chronic or secondary illness are very heavily impacted by physical and chemical stresses. People on medications are heavily impacted by these stresses. And just everyday life in some cases, such as a pandemic, and thinking and living in fear, well, these weaken the immune system and push down the immunoglobulin A levels, making a person more susceptible. So it's very important to manage your stress, to find outlets to manage the stress, and even something like overtraining would be a stress that could push it down as well. So we want to make sure that we're not doing things and being stressed out or inducing stress by overtraining, because we will lower our immunoglobulin A levels and make ourselves more susceptible to illness. Exercise does it. One of the proofs there is athletes who run marathons after marathons oftentimes get sick because of the stress of the marathon. So what can you do to boost this? Resveratrol is a nutrient that has been found to be extremely helpful for boosting immunoglobulin A levels. It's thought to be sort of like a fountain of youth for people, and it's found in things like darkly colored foods. Red wine is one. I'm not advocating that you go out and drink tons of red wine, because there are other sources that you can easily acquire this from. Peanuts, grapes, blueberries, and one of my favorites, cocoa. Notice that doesn't say chocolate, because they're two different things. But cacao is something that is loaded with nutrients and resveratrol. And remember, these are very helpful at increasing your immunoglobulin A levels, which would boost your defenses in your fight against viruses and bacteria. What a gift! There is an immune system inside. It can be stimulated. This is step number 9. Support antibody production. I'm Dr. Tyran Mincey. I hope you'll take these action steps and join us for our last step, step number 10, where we pull it all together and let you know what you can do to boost immune system function. We'll see you then. Remember, there's an immune system inside. Thanks.